Again, another one that came out right at the end of 2020, so I barely missed out on doing it last year, but we did end up doing a whole playthrough on the PC, and so here it is on this year's list.
Find them hiding in the sand, tearing up a ketchup patch. Come to Snack-Tooth Island and discover it's Bugsnax.
And damn, once we do this one, we'll be ahead of schedule. I could actually already start work on February's reviews, like 3D World, as most of that is the same, so I could record like the graphics and the music as it pretty much looks the same as it did when it originally released. Then all I'd have to do is write and record the bits for Bowser's Fury and how well the online works when it comes out. Feels nice to be ahead for once, but right now you're here for Bugsnax, so let's dive in.
Snack-Tooth Island and discover it's Bugsnax.
They're fine. They serve their purpose for what the game is. Like some of the textures and bits in the background, like when you're looking from an area into a new area or on top of the mountain down into a village, yeah, that's not the best looking, so sometimes it does feel like the art of the Grumpuses in the journal looks better than the models itself, but that's fine, as most of the time you won't be looking too much around you but at the entities within, which they themselves are really high quality and stick out a whole lot. More and, you know, given the nature of this game, that's exactly what you want, as it's going to be more Pokemon Snap orientated. You don't really need to look at the background, you need the Pokemon itself to really stand out against the background. So while I do wish for some of the background textures to be a bit better, the art style itself as a whole works perfectly for what this game entails, as does the music.
Snack-Tooth Island and discover it's Bugsnax.
It's perfect. They did a fantastic job on all the tracks to give a nice sense of relaxation and exploration. Given this game works a lot like Pokemon Snap, as you are invincible, you can't be killed nor hurt. The main goal is interacting with the Bugsnax, so it wants to make it feel like an enjoyable experience, and the music reflects that, from the woods to the beach, to the desert, but if they ever do need a tense moment, as all the Grumpuses don't always get along with each other, like when we had the divorce confirmed, you do get some good music to fit those kind of moments as well.
Snack-Tooth Island and discover it's Bugsnax.
Very easy to use and get a hand of. Really, in reality, there is only two buttons. There is a control stick for moving, the right trigger to set a trap and activate a trap, and maybe, if you need it, either to recall a trap or aim using the left trigger. And that's it. So it's very basic, but that basicness is all you need. It's very functional, so because all you have to do is be like, oh look, put a trap down with R1 for this strawberry at the beginning. You have pressed the button, now press the button, now it's in the trap. You pressed R1 twice, you don't need any more than that. Again, some of the Bugsnax will require a little bit more advanced stuff that we'll get into in the gameplay, but it is literally 2 buttons of right trigger, left trigger, and the control stick to move. So it's really easy to understand. It's really intuitive. Sometimes maybe a little bit intuitive. That could just be my controller. But sometimes I feel like the right trigger, not so much the left, but the right trigger is mega sensitive, and even a slight tap will activate it when you don't want it to. But that could just be my controller. But in terms of like how it actually feels to activate the traps and send things in a different direction while aiming, it feels nice, it feels fine, it's fine.
It's not too violent and discover it's Bugsnax.
Okay, this is the bigger and most fun section. This game works as a combination of Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Rangers. Pokemon Snap in the sense that you will be sent to certain areas and all the wildlife will just be walking around, doing their own thing, naturally interacting with each other like they do in Snap, as, well, you know, let's rephrase that, like they do at least in the Snap game, not so much the main series, they just kind of phase in and out of reality. But you can find the more aggressive ones, like the praying Picantus, just kind of smacking the other ones around. Some of the smaller ones, like the Strabby, will try and run and hide, and bigger ones like Bunga and the Snail just don't give a shit. They just kind of walk around you or just don't care. So yeah, and with the Picantus as well, like, it's not only just attacking everything. If it sees you, it will come and take a swing at you as well, sending you flying. So yeah, they're just all out in the wild, naturally interacting with each other, and while they're doing that, you can take a picture of them to register them in your Pokedex. And that's the main part of the gameplay on one side, where you are given the journal. You need to 100% this journal, you know, if you want the secret ending after the credits. So you'll want to just like walk around and take pictures of them in their natural habitat to fill up the journal or the Pokedex. Then on the other side, the Pokemon Rangers side, there will be several side quests given to you, and you will use all the tools given to capture each of the bugs. Some are very easy, as mentioned before, like the Strabby. You just put the trap down, wait for its walking pattern, or if it's hiding, wait for it to come out of the bush, and when it's in the circumference of your trap, bam, you got it. Others, like the Fry Spider, you need to place ketchup on the trap to lure it down into the trap, and then later, like really later on, you will get a thing that can like, it's basically a tripwire, but you can imbue it with elements like fire. So with, say for example, the banana split big bug thing, you need to place the trip on the fire, so it's got the fire element, fire it over there so that this thing will actually hit it, because if we hit it normally, I am frozen, I cannot pick it up. But if we lure it over to the tripwire, the fire will neutralize the ice and also stun him, so that you will be able to capture him because the fire has neutralized the ice. So some will require a little bit more of a tactical approach, but mostly they're fairly easy to catch, and it's really fun. It's really cool finding out how exactly you need to get each one of these snacks. And once you get enough in each area and do enough side quests, you can unlock a boss bug snack, each with their own minion to catch. So like with the melon, there is baby melons that you have to catch before getting the big melon, because you still need to have taken a picture of the baby melon and captured a baby melon before capturing the boss. That way it is registered in your Pokedex so that you can get the ending after the credits. And they in of themselves then have their own unique way of fighting them. Like, these boss bug snacks cannot be fought like all the others you found out in the wild. They each have a specialized arena and the arena will be designed in such a way that you have to fight them in a unique way, and it's a nice change of pace when you get these bosses. You know, you'll have been taking a lot of pictures for a while, you'll have been capturing a lot of snacks for a while, and then just when you're at that point where it's like, you know, the gameplay loop is getting slightly repetitive, they're like, okay, come here, let's take a break from that, and let's go on a big boss fight mission, and let's have a big boss fight. And you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, I like fighting the giant pizza moth by throwing bombs at it and cutting it up with the stone pizza slicer like a pizza. So yeah, that's good. It's really simple, but it's a fun gameplay loop. And if you're going for 100% of the Pokédex, which means the bosses, which means all the side quests, then it will take you around 12 hours, which for what the game is the perfect length. It's just about as long as it needs to be, as by that point you'll be like, okay, I like my time here, I've enjoyed taking the pictures, I've enjoyed capturing the bugs, I've enjoyed fighting the bosses, but I do feel like I'm starting, just barely, I am starting to hit that burnout point, and I think it's time for the game to end. And the game's like, yeah, yes, I agree, you've got all the Bugsnax, you've done all the side quests, you have fought all the bosses, so let's go talk to Filbo, and we will trigger the final main story mission. Speaking of,
It's not too violent and discover it's Bugsnax.
it's absolutely fantastic. Young Horse really knew how to write up and build a mystery. Starting, we are a journalist invited by explorer Liz to Snacktooth Island to go and interview her about the discovery that she has found, that being the Bugsnax, and write a piece on the Bugsnax. After an interjection from our boss saying it's nonsense, we go anyway, and one of the bosses, the pizza moth, blows our airship up and we fall to the ground. Upon finding what will be our main sidekick, Filbo, we have to get him moving, and once we get him moving towards a farm, we find two more Grumpuses, Wambus and Beffica, who don't really want to go back to town for some reason. And then, on reaching town, we find the main setup that Liz and her assistant and local doctor, Eggabell, have gone missing. Missing for so long that the community that they were just starting to build fell apart quickly, with no real leader nor source of food, and fights breaking out all over the place. Everybody goes their separate ways. Our main mission and setup is to get all 11 villagers back to town and find the missing leader Liz. It's a good setup, as each will know a little of their leader, and if you can get them back to town, they will each give you a very small clue of where they saw her or what to do next, so that the mystery keeps on going. And that's really it for an overarching story. If that's all you go by, as here is an island and now our leader's gone, and if you just get them from A to B, not even focusing on the side quests, let's say you're not going for the ending after the credits, if you just get them from A to B, that's really all there is to the story. But if you pay attention to every word they say and the things around them, you get that extra world building and an even bigger payoff. Hence, I will not spoil the ending. If you are looking at this and thinking, this seems like a fun little indie game for a day or two, go play it now. Go and play it now. Do not look anything up. Do not look anything up. Do not let anybody spoil the mystery. As through the game, there are underlying tones and messages, and when you take your time to do everyone's side quests and get to know them personally, it makes the payoff all the better. Approaching the big final door in the mountains and seeing what's behind it was already a great reveal. Then going through the final area and having a final interview, that gives you all the answers. When you have a final interview, you get every question that you were asking answered. Not only making the final area all the more impactful, but making everything you have done up to that point and everything you have seen up to that point all fit into place, and also makes it more impactful, as you've always had the answer. The hows and the whys. You might not feel as good about yourself, not in terms of you the player, but like when you find out an answer, one answer in particular, considering it's going to be tied in to, you know, the title of the game and the thing you've been doing of taking the picture of the Bugsnax. When you find out one particular answer about them, you might not feel as good about yourself, but it all makes sense. And you've had the answers all along. And therein lies the true beauty, as you have technically known all along, as no character ever lies. Not one line from anyone is ever false. Grumpuses only ever speak the truth. And when you look back on everything, all your interactions, even from the very first line with your boss, as well as a few other characters, you have the revelation that you have always known the answer to the mystery. You always knew what the answer to the mystery was. And when you're told it at the end, it makes all your ideas of what the mystery could be, all your guessing, all of your actual, you know, journalistic investigations where you think you've got it right, you did get it right. You did. And it makes you feel all the better because you solved that and you've technically always had the answer. This is just a justification. But then when you actually look back at the evidence, you don't just have the evidence and you're randomly guessing. You have the evidence and now you understand why you came to that conclusion, because the final interview puts all that evidence that you've gathered into place. All the jigsaw pieces fit together and then you see why you came to them conclusions. So yeah, if you have not played it and are interested, especially for a good mystery, I would highly recommend it, and do not look anything up till you beat it. And I mean the secret ending, the 100% after the credits.
It's not too violent and discover it's Bugsnax.
So my final verdict for Bugsnax is a great 4 out of 5. Once again, really fun indie game, worth checking out. A fun gameplay loop and an amazing, well-written story that only stays around just for as long as it has to before giving you the big ending. With, like Shantae, it only being knocked down slightly by a few minor issues. That being said, some, like Shantae, some of the loading times, even for the PC, as I played the Epic Game Store PC version, even the PC version has some slightly long load times, and it does have a few bugs that Young Horse are addressing, like when I was fighting the pizza moth and catching its hot pocket babies that you need to fire back at it, I accidentally caught all of the hot pocket babies, and at the time it did not spawn more, thus soft locking me and forcing me to restart the whole fight. And that was dumb. That was really dumb, and I hate it, and the stream chat thought it was dumb. However, that one, I do know a lot of people ran into that situation, and Young Horse have already addressed that one, so that will not happen. If you do happen to catch all the Hot Pocket babies as of watching this review, it will now spawn more. So, you know, thank you very much for fixing that. But there are a few other little bugs. And then one that I'm just really interested in, as I may have found a DLC area. When I was looking for the final clue, only being told it was in the base somewhere, chat said that it was above where Floofty was on this ship. And I could see a way around, you know, you just jump on top of the rocks and get onto the ship. So, going around the wall, it was possible. I just walked in the water and got onto this land. With such ease, I assumed that chat was right, but by walking back towards the ship to get on top of it to get where we thought the clue was, the game faded into a loading screen and we entered the Hyperzone with a message saying that we did not have access to that area yet. The keyword being yet. So, Young Horse, did I just find the DLC? Are we going back to Snacktooth Island? Is that a new area? But yeah, other than that, fun game, 4 out of 5, and I would recommend. But Spyro, throughout this entire review, you didn't answer the one question. What's that? What's your favourite one? I have a few. I mean, the Sweetie Flies, because they are dragonflies like Sparks. Maybe either the normal one, the red and white one, or the rainbow one are the best. Snail, really cute. I love a good cinnamon roll every now and then, so maybe that one. Or probably Instabug, because it is a narcissistic sparkle bitch that always likes to be on camera. Like, literally, to get it, you have to get it out of the bush by getting your camera out, and it will follow wherever you point the camera because it wants pictures of itself because she looks so damn good. And I can relate because I'm a YouTuber, YouTuber and streamer, and I always like to be on camera, so, you know, and because I am the greatest dragon in all of gaming, you already know I am a narcissistic sparkle bitch that looks damn good, and you all want some of your sexy, legendary dragons, so yeah, it has to be her. Instabug is my favourite.